Hi everyone, and welcome to another Liga Mekis and Chill. I don't even know what kind of intro to do here, because we didn't work
Days
on
to the
making
World Cup,
intro
maybe?
here. Is it what was that?
How many days is it to the World Cup? Maybe
How many?
I
I mean, it's a different vibe for this show. Like, we're not doing play-by-play commentary. It's basically we just think that like it's almost as if all of you guys are just hanging out with us and watching Liga Mekis. Yeah, like I said, this is a play-by-play commentary, just hanging out, having some beers. Actually, I mean, I shouldn't have some beers right now. I had one actually for brunch earlier today. If I have one again, I'm probably gonna pass out.
What strength beer you talking this?
And that is our intro.
Are you just not
Perfect.
very tolerant?
Yeah, there you go. Actually, today, Tom, maybe we should just talk about Rochdale, Tom.
Maybe we should just dedicate this whole 2 hours to the mighty Rochdale getting a draw against Tottenham, and a deserved draw as well, and getting the FA Cup replay against Wembley, which was
Not too shabby.
absolutely amazing. I used to sell programs outside that stadium as well.
Really? Oh, no way.
Yeah, when I was like a kid, me and my friend used to sell like the match day programs outside. So it's pretty crazy, yeah.
They weren't like counterfeit like programs, like stuff like the club didn't endorse, but they're just like a good way for you guys to make some.
Can't reveal details, but yeah, no, but I mean, it's been a good weekend, no, with the League MX games as well. I think there's a lot riding on this game as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, Club America looking to, they're the only team now that are undefeated so far this season. So they're obviously looking to extend that. With a win, they can go 4 points clear as well, which is massive after eight rounds of matches. And then Veracruz at the other end, obviously the relegation win here, and they close the gap on Querétaro to 6 points. So you feel like 6 points with 8 games remaining. You feel like it's still a big ask, but it's only 2 weeks. It's only 2 games, and Querétaro aren't doing amazingly either. And then Lobos WAP falling as well, and you suddenly think
falling apart, man. They got that 2-1 loss. I don't they're so close. I mean, did you guys see that last moment in that game against Morelia? Or like, I had no idea how I didn't get that last second goal there, which would have been massive, man. Because any point for them is just so crucial right now.
Yeah, no, definitely 100%. It's it's just all gone wrong, isn't it? Really, for Lobos WAP. I mean, they got that result against Atlas, but then I think just watching Atlas the last few weeks, it's just abysmal right now. I mean, it's just you don't know what's going on there. It just seems to have been a really bad decision to get rid of Profe Cruz. Although I know the Atlas fans don't like him, but it's the wheels are really falling off there, and for both the Guadalajara clubs.
Yeah.
I was just writing before coming on, and I don't know. It's like once again, it's this rock bottom for the Guadalajara clubs, and you look to what's going on in Monterrey with Tigres and Rayados, and it's almost polar opposite. It's Chivas once again there yesterday. Yeah, bad times in Guadalajara.
Yeah. Jason, are you hyped to be watching Veracruz right now?
I never miss a Veracruz match. I'm just locked in all the way. Yeah. Well, Liga MX is always entertaining. We'll say that.
At least with like this season, like you're like, okay, there's a little bit more for them to be fighting for. Like,
it's true. Although, like, that is Veracruz just about every season. They're going to have to start winning here. And they've been successful. But this is a tough ask. We're talking about the way that Lobos have really disappointed this season. But, they don't really need that many points to survive. And with their just open style of play that they have, like they could still like get some points here. It's not going to be pretty. They're not going to have a good season, but they still might be able to pull it off. Veracruz is still in a ton of trouble. Even with like the way Veracruz are playing and getting the occasional point, at a certain point, if Lobos get enough points, it's not going to matter what Veracruz does. They have the advantage that way.
I think they need to aim for Querétaro. Like they have to be looking at, right, we've got to forget Lobos WAP. If Lobos WAP have an absolute disaster, then they'll come into the picture. But I think they need to be looking at Querétaro and taking it from there, really. And like I said, that's why this game if they can somehow beat America, top of the league, the first defeat of the season for America, then it's. I don't think it's just the points either. It's the psychological aspect of it. If the momentum generated by beating America today, I think would be absolutely massive for Veracruz because everyone's against them. You know what I mean? And I think there's a number of reasons for that, and a lot of them are just the way the clubs run and stuff, the links to the politics and stuff like that. It's not like a model of how clubs should be run, but I think if you from the playing point of view, the players' side, I mean, they forget about all that. I mean, they want to play in the first division, and the only way to do that, to guarantee that, is by staying up, is by somehow performing this miracle this season and keeping the team in Liga MX. So yeah, massive game for him.
I don't know if I haven't really been paying attention to America enough, but is this Aldo Cruz's first start for America this season? Number 285? I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's a left back. It was like a young Mexican kid, but is this his first start this season?
I think it's his first start this season. I think he played last season.
Okay.
For Club America.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think he's a left back, right?
Yeah. I think he's a left back, and yeah, it's if you look at the America team today, it's quite very attacking.
Yeah.
Because I thought he would probably play Joe Corona in there in the midfield alongside Guido Rodriguez, but he's not. He's gone for Uribe, Menes, Cecilio Dominguez, and then Ibarra on one of the wings. So it's interesting. Oh, here we go.
Wait, Tom, what?
Yeah.
I wanted, because last time we were doing this, Naib's TV was like 30 seconds, like ahead of ours. Like, what's the clock at right now for you?
So at 4:50.
Okay, cool.
4 minutes 50.
Okay, cool. Because we could tell exactly what was happening, or like just like 10 to 20 seconds beforehand because Naib's TV was just like way ahead of ours. That's good too.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it should be a good one. Yeah, I thought it was an interesting weekend as well. There's a lot of storylines. I think Pumas. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you were there, Cesar. No, like what was your impression of Pumas yesterday? Because remember, I said on the show as well. Like I don't make many bold claims, but I said I just think Pumas are they're gonna be mid-table. Probably making the playoffs, but I didn't think they were as good as they showed in those first few weeks.
What I thought was kind of interesting about the game was like clearly like after the match ended, like a bunch of players like ran up to from Pumas' side, like ran up to the officials, and it was clear that they were really angry. It was clear that they're really bothered, and I wondered if after the match, if maybe some players were going to say something about they thought the officiating wasn't right, or if David Patiño, the manager, maybe he would say something that like maybe that some mistakes from the referees were gonna like cost them the game, or maybe that like it was treated unfairly. But he was and it was interesting to hear him say that that over the past couple games that Pumas have been basically they've just been creating a lot of mistakes, creating a lot of errors, and he didn't want to bring up the refs. I thought that was kind of interesting. Not saying that he would have done that, but I thought it was kind of interesting. He's just like, we're just falling to a bunch of mistakes. We're just falling to a bunch of errors. And I don't know, man. I think that the thing too is that like Xolos kind of mixed up their attack yesterday. And I mean, speaking of another Mateos Gonzalez, who was with Toluca for a little bit before there was with Chiapas. But man, he was on fire yesterday. He was just the difference maker for Xolos. But I mean, we'll see what happens with Pumas. I mean, clearly it's not good. They got 2 losses in a row, and it's not good when you lose to Veracruz and then when you lose to Xolos. I know Xolos are a little bit right now. They're a little bit more of a respectable side, at least points wise, than Veracruz. But I mean, that's just not ideal for a side that just looks so strong. They look so strong to begin the season.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think they're a good team, but I think that I don't know. There's other better teams, I think, and Jason with Cruz Azul, it's not. I don't know. Something not quite right, isn't there, at the minute?
I think you could probably have been saying that for quite some time with Cruz Azul, though, right?
I mean, I mean, it's hard to explain. I mean, it's the same kinds of things, but you keep having there's a decent amount of roster turnover, but you have the same issues over and over and over again. It's just, I don't know. You just keep going back to the fact that you don't have anyone that comes up through Cruz Azul to play in that starting team.
Yeah.
And I think that's just like the continual problem. Like, you don't have that base of players that has been with the club that I don't know. They just have that they don't have Cruz Azul within them, and you have these players, even the ones that have been with the club for a while, that I don't know, it's just you just don't get the performances that you expect out of some of these players, and I don't know. It's I don't know. I think you have to give Caixinha time to have a real transfer window with the club, and a summer with them, and to kind of reinvent this team to be his own. But right now it's a similar team that we saw last season, in that they have trouble scoring, and everything comes through the wings, and the wings aren't all that impressive.
Yeah, he did bring in
over and over again.
He did bring in Gullit though, right? That's exactly what you guys need.
Yeah, it was a risk that for me.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course.
I mean, I think that's the player that Cruz Azul had desperately needed, even last season as well with Paco Jimenez. I just felt they missed that kind of attacking midfielder who could bring goals as well and create and stuff, and basically create space for others as well. And I mean, Gullit Peña, when he's at his best, that's what he does. But I tell you what, yeah, it's been a long time. I mean, even in that second season when they won the bicampeonato with Leon, if I remember rightly, I don't think he was amazing the second season.
No.
And then he dipped after that, and then he went to Chivas, and it was like, I don't know, he's one of those players, maybe a little bit like Chaton, where you just think at a certain point he had so much potential, but what's happened to it? And I don't know, I think it's probably off the field stuff as well with Gullit. Same with Chaton, I mean, that's all the rumors, isn't it? That he likes to have a good time. That, don't know, yeah.
I thought Walter Montoya could have been that guy, that attack-minded midfielder who could have done something. But obviously, he just showed up. Maybe he needs a little bit more time. But just from what I read, I mean, obviously, it wasn't a player that I followed really closely. I just thought that, okay, I just thought this is the guy who could be Chaco's replacement, but someone with a little bit more energy. But I mean, yeah, he's been pretty disappointed. But maybe he just needs more time too, since he just showed up over the winter.
Yeah, I mean, that's the positive spin on it, and hopefully that is the case, that it's just a matter of getting used to the team and his teammates and everything, and then he just gets used to playing in Mexico, and that he does begin to flourish there, because you guys are absolutely right. That is the position that needs the void that is really clear with the team. But the way that it went down for him in Europe, just not really playing, not really seeing a lot of playing time, couldn't get it. Didn't really work out, and he's coming off the back of a failure as well. So, I mean, it doesn't mean it can't work here in Mexico and with Cruz Azul, but there's also the scare that maybe it's just not going to work out at all. But yeah, hopefully time is the difference, and that could be a player, even if the Gullit doesn't work out, that it is Montoya that could make the difference too.
That's now almost 11 minutes into the game. Looks like America's had a couple more chances than Veracruz. Tom, what do you think? Let's hear some predictions. Yeah, let's hear some predictions. Only before the 15th minute mark. I want to hear what you guys think will be the end result here. I'll go first. I think I'm gonna say that America gets a 3-1 win here.
Yeah, I'll go 2-1. I think America. I think they started the brighter team, haven't they? And I don't know, there's a deficit in quality now between America and Veracruz.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say we get a draw out of this.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Veracruz have upped their game a little bit recently, and kind of a sneaky, tough place to play, this stadium.
Yeah.
So maybe a 1-1, something like that. We'll see.
I guess when you look at their last few results, they haven't really been one-sided. It's always a narrow win, narrow loss, or a draw, but they tend to not be really high scoring.
Yeah, they got a good goalkeeper as well. I think Gallese is
the Messi stopper.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's quality, and I think that It's a massive help. Oh, he's just going to make a mistake here. Just as he makes a mistake. Tell you what, a good chance that for Oribe Peralta.
Yeah, man, he should have been. He should have definitely finished that. Especially when you have someone like Henry Martin on the bench too.
Yeah.
Oof.
Well, yeah. I think Peralta's still the main striker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with Martin, no, that it's going to be difficult for him. I mean, America are also in the market for another player at the end of the transfer window, pretty much linked with anybody who of a certain quality in Europe who might be available. There were so many names linked to Club America, and I think it was obvious that they were in the market and stuff. It just they couldn't get the deal done. I think Luc de Jong from PSV was the main one for a while.
Yeah.
Well, obviously Menes came in. Yeah, I like him. I think he's looked really good. He's obviously technically very, very gifted. And he's had his problems in the past, but I think he's got plenty of quality to be successful in Liga MX.
He's already got a couple goals too. I mean, if we're talking about someone who, some players sometimes need some time to adjust, but I mean, he's kind of hit the ground running with the team, so that's pretty impressive too.
Yeah, no, it's good to see America make one of those signings. I mean, yeah, like go for a bigger name and stuff, and it seems to be the in vogue right now, no? In Liga MX, every team's got to get some kind of European or Japanese or some kind of foreign star who's been a bit of a name in the past or has some kind of reputation. It's I think there's been quite a few successful. I mean, even Necaxa with like Mati Fernandez.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's another team that I tell you what, pretty impressive. What they did to Monterrey. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I didn't get a chance to watch the game because I was just I was following it while I was in the Estadio Caliente. But after I saw the Necaxa got the 1-0 lead, I was like, this won't last long. Monterrey is going to bounce back. Let's see what happens here. It was just a complete shock to see that they end up getting the 3-0 win.
Yeah, I mean, the winger Roberto Alvarado is definitely one to keep an eye on. I think he's been on trial already at Man United, Sunderland, Leicester. When he was like 15 or 14, he went on trial over there. So he's definitely got something. And then the Chilean kid, Davila. There's one Davila.
Yeah.
Who kind of plays. He played off the striker the other day, and I don't know, his second goal, the way him and Alvarado kind of worked together, was an absolutely brilliant goal, absolutely brilliant. And Alvarado's 19, Davila's 20, and it's like it's good to see.
I think they have another young Chilean, Marcelo Allende, who's like an 18-year-old Chilean player who just joined Necaxa as well too. Yeah. I don't think he has a starting role just yet, but it's just interesting that they have another Chilean player right there too, which I guess it's not too surprising that Liga MX's team has like several Chileans. Although Peruvians are becoming the new Chileans, so
yeah, they're all taking over.
Guys, question in the chat here. JP Santoyo asks about Paul Aguilar's form and if he will be national team worthy again ever. What do you guys think about that one?
I don't think he's recaptured what he was. Put it that way. If you talk back in 2014, when Piojo was in his first spell at Club America, I don't think Paul Aguilar's reached those heights. Obviously, he's had at least one big injury, and so that I think that hurts him. He's like the wrong side of 30 now as well, so that doesn't help. But more than anything, it's Osorio. It's Osorio's system. There's absolutely no way that Paul Aguilar is going to be in the World Cup squad. I mean,
I think that's the thing as well. That's just like, even if he does rediscover his form, it's just not a player that it's not an Osorio type player in the right back position.
Yeah, I mean, he can't defend.
Right.
He's not
a proper defender. I mean, ideally he's a right wing back, and
100% right wing back, and he's got some protection over there, a bit behind him in terms of an extra centre back. But yeah, I think that if you're playing with a 4-man defense and you put him there in the World Cup, then you would be a bit worried, to be honest. But he is a very good player, and like Jason says, if you play that 5-3-2 that Piojo used at the World Cup, that he used with America, then I mean the way you got up and down the wing, Aguilar was just absolutely superb. He's got quality in terms of crossing into the box as well. He can hit the ball as well. I mean, what was it that strike? Remember that strike against the States, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the. I don't know. That was one of the best kind of goals that I've seen live. Not necessarily just the quality of the goal, but just the occasion. And I mean, that place, the Rose Bowl that night was absolutely rocking, and it was great to see. It was probably like 30% US fans as well. So the atmosphere was kind of going back and forth, and the nervous tension. It was one of the best kind of goals I've ever witnessed in terms of just absolutely crazy.
That was the closest I've come to having a panic attack like at a soccer game, was during that match. That was rough to watch. I mean, obviously at the end it was just complete exhilaration, but dude, it was just so tough to watch that game.
I think Aguilar was good, like especially like I think he's good in the hex. Like I think he's good against CONCACAF oppositions. He's good. You could play him at a 4-man back line at right back if you're playing against teams that are going to sit back against you, and you're going to want to play forward a bit. But I mean, if you're playing against top level competition, no, he's not someone you want back there. Like we said, just the defending acumen's not really there with Aguilar. He's good coming forward, and that's really what he excels at. But so yeah, like we said, it's hard to see him ever getting back in the national team, even if he does regain his like full on best of his ability. But like we said, he's getting up there now. So
I don't think Mexico really needs him. I don't think Mexico really needs him at this point. And although I think it would have been nice to see him in the January call up. I mean, it was quite clear that when he wasn't there, that he's just no longer a part of this process. And I think that's okay. I don't think that should be a worry. I don't think people should be freaking out about that. But yeah, no, it looks like he's just no longer really that relevant to the national team as long as Osorio's in charge.
Veracruz getting a bit more of the ball here. It's starting to open up a bit. They're looking pretty good.
Yeah, I think typical Liga MX is. I think in most leagues now in the world, if you had basically first against last or whatever, you'd have the weaker team just sitting back and just kind of holding on and hoping for a break. And in Liga MX, look at the space. Like you look at the field now, and you look at the space that there is, and you think, wow, it's incredible. But yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the defining features of the league is that the teams don't really they don't sit back and just completely defend. And I don't know, I think I said it before, but I think it's a cultural thing as well. Yeah. I think the Mexican football fan, he just wouldn't accept it. I just don't think it's acceptable, and I love that. It's brilliant. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not the most pragmatic way of looking at the game, but I think that even for Veracruz fans, I mean, I think coming to the stadium, they want to see the team at least have a go. And sometimes you get fans who they complain about the way the team plays, and they're not even, for me, like defending that much. And the classic case there is Atlas under Profe Cruz, because they used to go crazy about him, just doing the substitution, like, I don't know, holding on to a lead, and then you take off someone more attacking for a defender, and it's pretty much norm. I mean, most managers do that kind of substitution, but then the Atlas fans hate it. Like, they just hate it.
Oh, you already got a yellow there.
Where's the yellow card?
I already got a yellow.
Got the henna. Yeah, a bit late there. But yeah, sorry if you can hear a few dogs.
Oh, don't worry. You might hear my cat in a little bit.
No, it's like the neighbor. The neighbor just has these two dogs, and they just go out on the street and everywhere. Like they just like kind of go back to the house to kind of eat and all that. But then the rest of the day they just chill out anywhere in the street. but it's like they bark at anything coming past and stuff. So it's pretty annoying, to be honest.
Do they like Mad Dog and like stare down Gizmo and being like, yeah, that's right. You're like a proper cultured inside dog, and we're like from the streets.
A bit like that, yeah. Come up to the front gate and just like have a little fight with my dog. But yeah, it's a bit annoying though.
No, I can't even hear him, to be honest. So
Good stuff. Yeah, we've got a few couple of questions from Club Tigres English on the Patreon. So yeah, if you any questions, throw them out there. Got loads of questions from Club Tigres.
What they ask?
Top 3 teams so far of the season.
I mean, for America, even if they lose this, just because they're the only team that's undefeated right now, so it's America. I think I don't know. That's tough because I mean now I just clicked on the league table, and you see Santos and Pumas in second and third. I'm still unsure of that. I'm still unsure of those guys. But I'm gonna say
believe your eyes.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna say Santos, yes, but I think a obvious reason why they've been doing so well has been Giannini. I mean, he's just been on fire. It's incredible. His talent. I mean, he's got 10 goals so far this season. So that's a huge reason why they've been doing so well.
I think Forge as well. I think Forge has been playing well with him. I think they've kind of clicked up front, whereas the last couple of years, I think Santos have actually been top of the league in terms of number of shots and stuff.
Yeah.
Or they've been near there. I don't want to say 100% top, but they just missed so many chances. And if you look at the expected goals and all that kind of thing, Santos are actually usually pretty high, but they've not made they've not obviously been in the playoffs and stuff. So yeah, little counter here. Nothing.
I'll stick with Puebla as my third. I would say Pumas, but I don't know, just the last 2 losses might highlight something that might go wrong for them. So that's what I'll go with.
I'd go America, Santos, and I don't know. I mean, I'd want to go 4 because I'd say Puebla and then Necaxa. I think Necaxa have been. I mean, that result really. I mean, in terms of you look at Liga MX.
It shouldn't be taken lightly. It just shouldn't be taken lightly at all.
No, I mean they've only conceded 5 goals. I mean, and they beat Monterrey 3-0, and they deserved the win. There's really organized unit, difficult to play against. I think Nacho Ambriz deserves a lot of credit for the way he's put that team together. And it's one of those teams where I said with Pumas, I can see Pumas dropping out of the playoffs. I mean, it's also really tight this league right now. So you've got kind of Leon in like 12th position on 11 points. But they're only 3 points off Santos in second. So like between second and 12th place, there's 3 points difference, which is ridiculous. I mean, it's like things can change so quickly right now in this league. So, but I think the Necaxa have got the base there. I don't think nobody's getting ahead of themselves. They do the basics really well. With Barovero, I think they've got a good goalkeeper. So I'd think America, Santos, because they've really turned it on this season. Good to see them back up near the top of the league, and then Puebla and Enrique Meza has done a top job with a limited squad, and then the Necaxa, I'd say.
Jason, what's your top 3?
I mean, if I'm just going on what I've seen so far, I mean, I think I'd probably just take the top 3 in the table at this point. Yeah. America and Santos and Pumas. I agree that I'm not sure that Pumas are going to last, but if we're just looking at overall what we've seen the best from, I think we've seen some pretty impressive performances from Pumas. Not necessarily yesterday, but overall, I still like what they've done. But yeah, I agree. But there's a lot of teams out there that I don't necessarily have a ton of faith in, that we're definitely going to see them there in the top 8. So very different question. We say like the teams, because you still have teams that teams like Tigres that they're going to be there at the end, but they're just kind of, they're also probably biding their time a little bit. Same we could say about Pachuca and Leon. I don't really know what to make of Leon, to be honest.
Yeah, right. It's just, I mean, we brought it up a week or 2 ago, but just what happened with that team? Like, what happened where they just started allowing like an immense amount of goals, just like an astonishing amount of goals. I mean, it was almost like surprising to not see them like fall apart in that game against Querétaro, and that it just finished as a 1-1 draw, as opposed to like another like wacky game with with an immense amount of goals. But yeah, no, I mean things aren't going well for them, especially defensively. Like I'm looking at the league table right now. I mean, like no other team has allowed more goals than Leon so far this season. Lobos BUAP also have 18, but yeah, no other team has done that.
Yeah, Leon, yeah, I mean, it has coincided with Landon Donovan signing. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no way around it. I'm not saying that one has caused the other, but I mean, there has been rumors as well. I mean, there were rumors that some of the established players aren't happy that Donovan's making a lot of money. I think it's it's reported as 2.5 million pesos a month. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what that is now in dollars, but so yeah, it's about $120,000, isn't it, a month?
Yeah,
something like that. So yeah, so with and if the reports have gone out there, then the players will have read them. Whether that figure's true or not, the players will have read that, and then obviously some of them won't be happy with it. So, I mean, is that part of the equation? I'm not really sure, but it wasn't. I mean, for Donovan not coming on yesterday against Querétaro was, I mean, it was bizarre for me.
Yeah, he was left on the bench. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there was two attacking players, Ramos and Borbano, who were both put on ahead of Donovan. But even then, they were drawing 0-0. I mean, 1-1. And he's like, why not put him on with 10 minutes to go? Just to give the team a boost, to use his kind of, his vision and stuff, and maybe to get that winner. I mean, I think it would have given the crowd a bit of a lift as well. And it was strange that they didn't even put him on for 10 minutes. And then the manager afterwards, Gustavo Diaz, he was saying, basically, I thought the players that were on the pitch were doing all right, and they would do a, there was no need to change. There was no other option that would improve the team on the bench, which is really a statement against Donovan, no?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not good when your manager's saying, basically there's nobody else on the bench could have impacted that game. I thought it was really strange, and I don't know. It's one of those situations where you're just not sure whether there's another element to this. Going on behind the scenes with the players, with the club. He's a bit of a strange one.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, because I think he's gonna. Would it be a surprise if he was to maybe get more minutes in the Copa MX match that's coming up for Leon, and then if he is once again left on the bench, or maybe that potentially doesn't even get minutes in the following match against Pachuca. I think it's an away match for them during next week too.
It's just never a good sign when your big signing is someone that isn't necessarily playing. And I mean, like a lot of that is the way this was set up. I mean, I think there's it's a bit problematic the way they introduced Donovan. They did make such a big deal out of it, and it is a big deal. But I mean, I don't know. It's a bit troublesome in the middle of the season bringing in a player like this, who's going to get that recognition and get that attention, might not necessarily be able to contribute. And then, like, if some of those rumors are true that, like, there is that issue with the money. I mean, like, that's, man, you can imagine the problems that causes in the locker room. So,
you think about it too. We're just like the money that they spent on Donovan, and now with these defensive issues that they had, maybe some people are thinking, or maybe some players are just thinking that, like, what if we would have rather spent that money on him, on a backup defender who could be having a role here, as opposed to someone who is just riding on the bench, not really having an impact for the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to know, isn't it? It's difficult to know. I think with Leon as well, we have to say that they have had injuries as well.
Yeah.
The centre backs, like Berdiso has been out, and he's a key player. I think they've had a couple of other injuries. William Yarbrough's not been on his best form in recent weeks either. So, that definitely doesn't help. So I think there's a few factors. But yeah, I mean, we haven't talked that much about America, have we?
No, I mean, we could really go on about that too.
and just how it seems to have, I don't know. I mean, this America team now looks like a rarer team. It's really clicked into place, and I don't know. I've gone through. It's like I like watching America again now. I like. Yeah. But sometimes you see the list of fixtures coming up at the weekend, And there's always teams that you're like, oh yeah, I like watching that team. You know, I'm gonna watch that game instead of the other one when they're on at the same time, because I like that team, I like the way they play, and that's how I feel these days about this America team now. I mean, I love Mateus Uribe. I think he's absolutely brilliant. He's an exciting player. You know, Cecilio Dominguez as well. Just I don't know. There's a lot of flair players. There's a lot of players that can do something out of nothing, and yeah, it's good to see kind of the old America back again.
And they've got, I mean, even if you look at the bench right now, I mean, those are some excellent bench options. You got Edson Alvarez, Joe Corona, Ibadwin, Henry Martin. Some of these guys could be starters for a lot of the Liga MX clubs, and especially someone like Martin. I know, you know, he has 5 goals so far, and I know that it's just a small but exciting run of form, and who knows, maybe he isn't as excellent as everyone hypes him up to be, but I mean, he really, I know he really took the initiative. He really stepped up and has done really well for America so far. So to have someone like him on the bench is just, I mean, that's a luxury at this point, especially for Piojo.
Yeah, I think Martin really needs to. I mean, he needs to take it for what it is. He's not going to be starting every game. I don't think with America, especially Piojo's going to do what he's doing today and play kind of Menes just behind Uribe Peralta, you know, and only play with one striker. But I mean, he's in pole position now for when Uribe Peralta does go. I mean, America are going to sign another. They're going to sign another striker. I don't think they're going to be able. They're not going to rely on Martin. But you know, when Uribe Peralta does eventually go, whether he goes back to Santos Laguna for a season, which I think he probably will. I think that would be, you know, a good ending to the Uribe Peralta story in terms of his career. And I think Martin's he can have a really good career at America. You know, and it's always good when you go to a big club like that to get early goals, you know, because I think the fans, when Martin was signed and when Joe Corona was signed, I don't know, because obviously it was before the Mene and you know, the other deals that they did with Pablo Aguilar going to Cholos and then Aguilera coming to America. I think fans were like, "What's going on here?"
Well, people were angry.
You know?
I mean, you saw like a bunch of memes that were even being made. There's just like where like with Corona, Aguilera, and Martin being sent. People were angry that they. I mean, yeah, they got 3 players, but they're also getting rid of, you know, a top Liga MX defender as well. So people were really bothered, but Martin has exceeded those expectations by far. I would say by far, especially since he wasn't really doing much with Cholos. And I think that the reason why Piojo did bring him over is just because he was well aware of Martin's capabilities, because he was, you know, with him when he was over there in Cholos. So I mean, I think it's pretty impressive, and I think you have to applaud someone like Martin for what he's done. And also, to an extent too, Joe Corona. I know he's not in the starting 11 right now, but I think he's had a decent start too.
No, yeah, it's good for Corona. He needed to get out of Tijuana for me.
Yeah.
You know, obviously he's always going to have that association with the club, the history that he made for the club. But yeah, I think he needed to get out, and America was, you can't turn him down. You know, I think he was an America fan growing up as well, and I think that, you know, you can't turn down the club. You have to go for it, and he's looked good. I mean, Joe Corona is now he's a mature player. I mean, I think, you know, he's in his prime now, and yeah, hopefully he can get more starts and stuff, because he's the type of player, Corona, where that you don't really notice him that much, but he helps the team a lot. He kind of links. He doesn't have many assists or anything, but he links the play really well between the defense
and
then moving forward.
He's just a really good distributor, but he is also, it is good to remember that he is only on loan with America for the year, so it wasn't like a complete transfer. This is just a loan. I'm pretty sure it's with an option to buy too, but I forgot.
Yeah.
There you go. Aguilar with a little animosity there. Right there with Villalba. Another player which we haven't even talked about is Guido Rodriguez, who, I mean, he's one of my, I'm a big fan of him. I was a big fan of what he did over at Tijuana, and I think he's done quite well over with America. I think he's having a good game so far too. I've always said that, like, the work that he does is like the work of 2 defensive midfielders, just with like his tackles and his aggression.
Yeah, no, he's one of the better central midfielders, no doubt about it. Oh, yeah. And you know, the partnership with Uribe, he seems to be playing more centrally today because he was on the wing last week. Yeah, I mean it's nicely balanced. You know what I mean? It's nicely balanced if you've got those two and then Menez as well holding back.
Yeah, it looks like Ibarra is playing more so of that wing, and Uribe is a little bit more central now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The question.
Oh man, you guys weren't kidding. Loop Tigres English sent us 7 questions. They sent us 7 questions on the Patreon page.
Best Liga MX coach. Anybody?
I mean, I think there's a clear name right here. I don't know. Is it? I think it's got to be Tuca, right?
Yeah, it seems pretty obvious. And just the longevity and what he's done with that team. He's got all the talent in the world at this moment, but you could also make the argument that that's probably one of the most difficult rosters to manage in the league.
Yeah.
With all of that attacking talent, balancing that roster, getting it right, and then he continues to get it right. And the way they've approached the league the last couple of seasons, where they're just kind of making sure they're ready to go Liga time, and just makes all the sense of the world. I mean, obviously, he proved himself over many years and with different teams, and so just his short little stint. We talked about that match with Aguilar's goal earlier, but short little stint with the national team worked out pretty well for him too. So yeah, you'd have to say Tuca. I don't think there is a second place even remotely close at this point.
It's crazy with Tuca and Tigres. It's almost like, at least recently, their proper season starts during the playoffs. That's really when their season starts. The regular season, they might have a few surprising losses. They look kind of a little off sometimes. Gignac might not be scoring, but it's almost like their true season when really they start to step up is during the playoffs. And you can almost, and it doesn't matter. I don't care. Even if they're in, let's say they're in 17th place right now, which clearly they're not. Right now they're in 10th place. But even if they're in 17th, I would still confidently say, yeah, they'll find a way into the top 8 and they'll be one of the title favorites.
Yeah, for sure. They know what they're doing at this point. They know how to bide their time and to make sure that they're ready to go at the right point of the season. There's no reason to kill themselves, right? They have nothing to prove. The managers are going to be trouble if they lose a few games. They know what they're doing at this point, and they're comfortable.
You guys not heard of a man called Ruben Omar Romano?
Wow, how did they not score there?
Yeah, what just happened right there?
It was a mess.
Yikes. Honestly, replay of that. Piojo obviously not happy. Gallese, the messy stopper on the floor. It's a nice little chip there for Mateos.
Oh man.
Oh, man.
Oh, there's my goalkeeper.
Yeah. Really put the jinx hard on him.
Covering himself in glory today.
Is it? I don't know if it's unfair to say this, but I didn't really think twice about Gallese until after that game against Argentina. I don't know if that's me being unfair, but I did that game against Argentina just put him in a different light for me. And I don't know if I'm the only one who feels this way. Then maybe it's unfair because maybe he's done had better performances in the past with Veracruz that were worthy of the hype. But just after that game, I don't know. I don't think I was giving him enough credit until after that match.
No, I think he did well. But was that the game where he said he wasn't even registered, was he, with Veracruz? Because I think he injured himself before the season, no?
Uh-huh. I didn't realize he
wasn't registered with Veracruz, and then he suddenly started playing for Peru.
Yeah, and that game, that World Cup qualifying game was that was incredible for him, man. It was really, really fun to watch.
Bit troubling. He's holding his knee there.
Yeah.
Hopefully, nothing serious.
Let's see, 43 minutes into the match. Let's see some of the stats. Veracruz with 42% possession. America with 58% possession. America with 6 shots, 2 on target. Veracruz with 3 shots, 0 on target. Veracruz, I mean, I think they do deserve a little bit of credit there because they have had some dangerous moments too. I mean, when you look at the stats alone, it looks like America has been the better side, which is entirely true. But I don't know, Veracruz have been a little dangerous there, especially I would say during like last like 10 to 15 minutes, they've had a couple moments. Was that a Meliton warming up?
Yeah, it sure was. That sure was.
Hey, remember that guy?
Not Piojo favorite. Seriously though, like I know people criticize me for sometimes for backing Osorio or the perception that I defend him, but if you look at some of the players Piojo called up as well, I mean every Mexico manager calls up some absolute crazy names, no?
Yeah. Meliton was definitely up there.
And even Miguel Herrera, remember him, the centre back?
Yeah. Was it Miguel Herrera Aquijua or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which manager do we get a Joel Wiki with?
Chepo.
Yep. Joel Wiki, who's now playing with the Las Vegas Lights with Freddie Adu.
Oh yeah.
And also Chalice's manager.
Oh my. Quite the team.
Yeah, Gallese, he injured himself in August last year, and Veracruz basically didn't register him. And so he was just without a club basically. And then the next thing that happened was he just appeared for Peru, and then he did all that crazy stuff against with Messi, didn't he?
Yeah.
Looks like he's coming out.
Oh, that's not good. So
here comes Meliton
Hernandez. Oh, that's
Meliton coming on.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're talking about a crucial player here for Veracruz, it's definitely Gallese is up there. He's definitely up there. I mean, you can also say maybe someone like Diego Chavez, who's been scoring some goals for them, or like someone like Esquivel with a little bit more experience. But man, Gallese, I mean, they're captain. This is pretty bad for them right now.
Might as well blow for half time here.
Yeah, might as well.
Positive side for Veracruz, at least they have this coming at the halftime, so they have some time to adjust here. Meliton has some time to kind of get ready for the second half, and as opposed to being in the middle of the action here, they can kind of adjust a bit.
Yeah.
Halftime break.
I mean, if I was America, though, I would just definitely take some chances. Stop ripping out like more shots against Meliton, though. That 100%, like 100% against Meliton have done this. I would take full advantage of that.
It's not easy, is it, coming in?
No.
Against someone like Meliton, yeah.
You're gonna be required. I mean, America I think they're gonna put pressure on in the second half. Yeah, I mean, Veracruz, I think they've done all right so far.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from that, that Peralta opportunity, they've had a couple of decent chances, but nothing. They're not camped around the goal, are they? I mean, Veracruz have taken to the game to them as well. It's been pretty end to end.
No, I think it's been pretty good. I mean, the defense has been pretty good. I mean, obviously, America has had their chances, but no, I think they've held their own. Like, that's 100% true. I think they've held their own. I mean, at home, obviously helps a little bit, but man, not having Gallese there is going to be, I mean, this is the game changer right here. Let's see. And if Meliton has a good performance, does he replace Ochoa? I think that's the big question.
Yes.
There it is. There it is.
The story wasn't watching this before, but he's tuned in now.
He's got an assistant watching now.
Yeah.
Osorio's going to Europe tomorrow. Maybe one of his trips.
We watched some of
He's on one of his trips to Europe.
Watching some of them
for himself or for the team. You suppose?
Well, probably a bit of both.
You saw Jason's Instagram account. He's like, dude, I should travel more. That's what I was telling myself, man.
How did you go in Europe, Jason? How was it?
It was good. Yeah, it was good times. I was thinking about staying. I wasn't sure I was going to totally come back. I think Antwerp's my place. I think I'm supposed to live there. So see what I could do.
Antwerp.
Yeah. I think I belong in Belgium. So got to rework some things and see what I could do to find a nice apartment there maybe.
Start the Belgian soccer show.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to change my Twitter handle probably, but it'll be fine.
Soccer Belgique.
There you go.
Is that how you say Belgium in French? I don't know.
I have no idea. We're the wrong people to ask. I think actually Jason's the person to ask, not us.
That's true. I'm honorary Belgian at this point. So.
You had some fries with mayonnaise.
That's right.
You had a lager, and out of that, you got the citizenship.
Man.
There's a question here in the chat right before halftime from Jaime Osorio. What do you guys think will happen in the Super Clásico coming up?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. We'll do a few questions at halftime. 0-0.
Yeah.
Fairly. I don't know. I think America the better team. But Veracruz, I think for me have definitely held their own. No.
Oh yeah, no, I think so. The defense has done quite well. I think so. But obviously America is looking a little bit more dangerous with their opportunities. But no, dude, you got to give credit to for Veracruz. I think if they knew that they were going into halftime with 0-0 scoreline, they would definitely take that. I mean, but then if you were to tell them Galles would be injured and Meliton stepped in, I don't know. I don't know, but still, it's a decent half for them. Yeah.
So Clásico, I don't know. What do you think? What do you guys think?
We got 2 weeks yet, right? I think it's not following weekend. I think it's on the 3rd of March. So, I mean, the way things are going now, I mean, it seems, you'd have to favor America, right? I mean, it's the Chivas have done little to inspire confidence, and they looked a little. It wasn't a bad performance on the weekend, but still, it's not like. Not a lot is going right for Chivas at the moment. So, America at the top of the table. It seems pretty clear there'd be considerable favorites. These matches, the Clásicos, you never really know. The team in form doesn't always matter in these kinds of things. But on the base of the way these teams have been playing, you have to say America.
Yeah,
that's how I feel too. That I know we've talked about before in the Mexican soccer show too, that just obviously the Clásicos are regardless of a team's form, regardless of what's going on, that this is everything gets put to the side for these rivalry matches. So, but I don't know. It's just the way that Chivas are really going into it, like Jason said. It's just I don't think it really instills much hope, and I just can't see. Honestly, I can't see Chivas winning it. I think America. I wouldn't be surprised if America were to get an easy win here.
Yeah, I'd like to see a study because you know what Jason said there about the form. Basically the form doesn't matter going into the Clásicos.
Yeah,
I don't know. It'd be interesting to do a study and work out not just America Chivas but different Clásicos from all over the world and see where they are going into the game and if it does actually affect or not compared to playing another team that isn't a rival. Because I don't know, it'd just be interesting. But yeah, honestly, I think Chivas right now, I don't know, I messaged my friend, Chivas were dominating the first 15, 20 minutes against Pachuca last night. Yeah. But I messaged my friend and I said, I think they're going to lose. I don't know that Chivas recently, they just find a way of messing things up. You look at the stats for that game against Pachuca and 71% of possession, ridiculous amounts of shots. I think they outpassed Pachuca 3-1 in terms of number of passes. So you look at the stats and you think, how have you not won that game? But then you look at what actually happened, and I thought Chivas was slightly fortunate to win a penalty. Mm-hmm. I know there was one in the first half, which was also, they could have got that one as well. So probably over the two penalty incidents, they deserved a penalty, but they could have easily got neither of those, And then Pachuca had the last minute, penalty right near the end, which they could have won the game. So it's difficult. I think there's some weaknesses in the Chivas squad that people, are not talking about a lot. I think that there's such a small team that I think that the conceding goals from crosses into the box, the conceding goals from set pieces, and they throw players forward at such a rate that on the counter attacks they're just getting absolutely battered. And we saw that against Pachuca as well. So I think there's weaknesses, and I think America will take advantage. I don't think Chivas are in a great place right now. I think Almeida as well is switching things up so much. I mean, I don't know, the team's just not making sense for me right now. Even though they have improved in the last 2 weeks with the draws. I don't know. I just don't get, you play the kid Godinez, but then you've just bought Ronaldo Cisneros.
Yeah.
And then you've got Macias as well on the bench, who's, at Chivas is one of the brightest young prospects right now. And I've seen him play at youth level, and he's very, very good. But you've got 3 strikers who are basically the same age, and so why have you just brought another young striker in? You know what I mean? It doesn't seem to make sense at the minute. But there's a lot of things at that club right now that isn't making sense.
Also, not to completely change the topic here, but it looks like Naib's here. What's going on, Naib?
How you doing, Tom, Cesar, Jason?
What a surprise!
I just came back from El Puerto Jarocho from that first half. That wasn't that exciting, but I mean, we'll see what happens in the second half with America, no? But Oribe had a good chance, I'd say, in early minutes of the match, and could have sent it in. And then, of course, I guess the second highlight was Gales's injury. Hopefully it's not that serious, because he has a World Cup ahead of him. But it's the game where Vasquez wanted to have it, I think. So it could end up 0-0 this one.
I mean, we'll see what happens.
Positive first first statement there from Naib.
I know, right?
So on the chat, Alex has a question. He wants us to talk Pachuca. What we think of their play right now, especially after that performance against Chivas there. Like, what do you guys think about the way Pachuca's playing? Thoughts on them going forward? Are they a title contender this season? What do you guys think?
They're not title contenders. I mean, that's for sure. Can they make the playoffs? Yeah. I mean, is Keisuke Honda doing well? I think so. I think Keisuke. I don't think it's been talked enough about how good of a season he's been having. The last 2 performances, our last 2 games, he's been a little quiet. But I mean, the guy's I think he's been involved. If I remember correctly, I'll have to look this up again. But I'm pretty sure he has 3 goals and 4 assists, which isn't bad for any player, in Liga MX after just 8 matches. But I think a big problem is just that they're pretty. Although they're scoring a lot of goals, they're also allowing a lot of goals. They look a little bit worrisome defensively. I think you got to have someone like Omar Gonzalez back in that defensive line. We'll see when he recovers and when he returns to the field, because I think he's a key player for them. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they sneak back into the top 8. I do anticipate that they'll do that. I think they need to fix some things defensively. But I think someone like Keisuke Honda, I mean, just from the stuff I've seen, he just looks like he's finally adapted to the league. And honestly, I think he's one of the best players in the league, which I think isn't too crazy of a thing to say. But I think it'll only be a matter of time before we talk about him a little bit more as the season progresses.
I think the numbers real quick. I mean, Zagal is scoring goals. He didn't do that last season. Of course, he missed a penalty last night, and I think that was a big hit for him. But I think what he's giving to the team, I think, is interesting. It's hard to come after, the Victor Guzman injury. I think that one hit the club, not just Guzman. I think he was going through some good dynamics there with the club. But it's so interesting with Pachuca and how Alonso kind of treats the new players, the ones that come in each season. I mean, he gives them about 6 months to adapt. I mean, it's not usually that you just plug them in right into the 11 and see what happens. I mean, you're seeing it with Walter Gonzalez, who's coming off the bench. Sebastian Palacios is also coming off the bench. He hasn't gotten that many starts. Keku Tamane, who came from MLS, he's like basically playing with the U20s most of the time as of now. And then you see, but what I've seen in the last, I'd say, 3 games, I think it's reason for confidence in a way. I mean, I'm really surprised with Alexis Peña, the center back, young 22-year-old Mexican center back. I think he's giving good signs so far. I mean, I think it's worth noting that Omar Gonzalez, before this injury, he was being shaky in the defense. I mean, it wasn't that solid anymore with him and Oscar Murillo. Oscar Murillo, as we know, he's a Colombian starting center back, and I think that says a lot about Murillo and what he represents. But I think give it time. But title contenders too is too big of a tag, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think. I think Pachuca missing Lozano. I know it sounds obvious, but how do you replace that? I mean, how do you replace that? The fulcrum, the focal point of the attack. He brought so many goals, he brought so many assists, he attracted so many of the opposition players during an attack. You know what I mean? I mean, he'd attract a couple of players and leave space for others as well. So I think it's very difficult, and this is the problem with the policy of selling. Selling the best players to Europe. I mean, that's the negative side. I mean, everyone wants to see it in terms of what it brings to the national team, but then what happens after that when when you struggle? I mean, Eric Aguirre has been playing on the left wing. I thought he played well against Chivas. I thought he was one of Pachuca's better players, but I didn't think Pachuca played really well, to be honest. I think if they'd have played well, they'd have won quite easily because Chivas' defense is pretty awful. But the problem is, Eric Gutierrez. You read between the lines, it looks like he's going to be moving to Europe in the summer. I think it's his moment, it's his time. He's done a lot for Pachuca. He's grown, but he's at the point now where he needs a new challenge for me, and I think that he knows that. I think the club are willing as well to let him go, and so that's going to be another issue, and it's kind of a philosophical issue with how Pachuca is run, and then it's not just Pachuca; it's a lot of clubs who sell to bigger clubs. I mean, how do you replace these youth products that that have been so important to how your team is run? So yeah, I mean that's what's that kid Eric Sanchez, who another youngster who's got minutes there. I mean, is he going to be able to step up? Does he have the talent? Figueroa, there's I think a winger called Figueroa, who I know is rated really highly by the institution. And Aguirre as well. I mean, Aguirre is still quite young. I mean, he was in the last Olympics for Mexico, but he's also eligible for the next Olympics in Tokyo as well. So they have got some good young players, but it's not an exact science, is it? With younger players, I don't know. It's about timing. It's about the players being at the right maturity level. It's not. Sometimes I think people like us say, throw in the youngsters, and I don't know. It's not easy to throw them in, and then you've got to get results as well, and you got to make sure that if they have a couple of bad games, that they're not going to take a massive hit in terms of confidence. So I mean, for me, I think that's the dilemma at Pachuca.
Yeah, it's about having a good supporting cast as well, no? Because I think that's kind of the dynamic in Pachuca. You do need strong veterans that can make the difference. I mean, that's why Conejo Perez has been there for so many years. I mean, it's just that asset that he offers of the experience, the years in Liga MX. And I think that is kind of important in order for Pachuca to kind of be successful. And of course, when they won the title in 2016, it was Rodolfo Pizarro, Gutierrez, and Chucky, and now it's just Gutierrez by himself and working out with new faces.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that they've got the talent to sneak into the top 8. But yeah, from going to that question from earlier, I don't think that title contenders are going to have to wait quite some time for that. I think it's going to be. I don't think that's a conversation to be had just yet. When it comes to
I'm not even sure though. I'm not sure, mate. I think they still got a lot to do. I mean, like we were just saying, the league's so tight right now that I mean, it's gonna be difficult. I mean, I think a lot's gonna depend on teams that we mentioned like Pumas, Puebla, Necaxa. Are they gonna hang around? You know what I mean, or are they gonna drop off? I think for teams like Morelia and Tijuana, I think we've got to give them a bit more. Don't know if respect's the right word, but they've been around now for a couple of seasons. You know what I mean? In the playoff mix, so I'd say you'd expect them to be fighting. But you've got Tigres in 10th, Pachuca in 11th, León in 12th, Cruz Azul in 14th. and then Chivas down in 16th. I mean, all those teams that before the start of the season, you know, I thought they'd be at least pushing the playoffs, if not definitely in it. So yeah, there's a long way to go, isn't there?
I mean, especially when Tom, you mentioned that just, there's so little in between these teams right now, and it even seems kind of, I don't know if it's the word is ridiculous to talk about their standings, because I've been talking about their standings throughout the entire match, but you're talking about like, oh, Pumas are in third, but Necaxa are in sixth, Tigres are in 10th, but then you really look at the standings of it and say, okay, there's a 3-point difference between 12th place Leon and 2nd place Santos. So it does seem kind of ridiculous sometimes when we bring up that, just like, oh, Leon's in 12th place, they're really struggling. It's like, no, they're honestly, they're 1 to 2 games away from somehow like sneaking back into a very, very good position. So there's just there's just so little in between these teams right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think we, you know, I completely agree. I think there are certain teams that you can kind of make, you know, more certain statements about. And, you know, you look at Cruz Azul and you look 1 win in 8 and you think that's not good, because they ended last season. I mean, they drew against America over 180 minutes. I know they weren't amazing in that series and towards the end there with Paco Gemes, but, you know, they got to the Liguilla, you know, they held their own against America, and now they won 1 in the first 8 under Caixinha. That's not great. I don't think they've had an easy run of games, but, you know, really, you need to be doing better than that. And the other one, I think, is Chivas. I mean, again, 1 win in 8. That's just nowhere near good enough for a club like Chivas. So I think those are the teams that you have to...
Watching Cruz Azul live yesterday against Puebla, I mean, it was pretty obvious that Puebla looked like a more solid team than Cruz Azul. The thing with Cruz Azul that's strange is that the base has been there already for, you know, I'm not talking about a year, I'm talking about almost 2 years, kind of the same base. I mean, the bases haven't changed that much. They did additions this offseason, but none of the additions have brought anything significant into the table.
Second half is about to start.
Right. You know, Madueña has been okay. Fierro has been okay as well.
Any other questions there? So,
yeah. All right, Naib, give us a quick prediction for the second half. What were your highlights of the first half? What needs to happen? What did Veracruz need to do?
No, I think prediction for the second half. I mean, I think America has to add more intensity to the attack. That's no doubt. You know, I think Mene had a couple of good touches at the early start of the match, but then kind of faded out with the rest of the match. There needs to be more distribution to Peralta to see if he can put one in the back of the net. But Veracruz, you know, they put in Polaco Monendes for the second half, so that kind of tells you a little bit they're gonna up the offense threat. But you know, the center back partnership of Aguilera and Bruno Valdez has been quite successful. You know, with the Piojo era.
Early corner for Veracruz.
Can you guys hear me? I think, sorry, my audio was off a little bit there.
We got you.
All right, cool.
Have you been to Veracruz, Jason?
I have. It's interesting stadium with that massive like top tier and the tiny bottom tier. You get very close. That top tier, like, it's hard to tell on the television, but it's like incredibly close to the field, and it's kind of intimidating, especially when the top gets pretty rowdy, and it did for a while, especially when they first came back up. It was they had a bit of a rowdy crowd there, and so it was a kind of a tough place to play, I think, and that adds to the environment there in Veracruz. It's an interesting stadium. It was definitely one of the more fun ones that I went to, which was unexpected.
Yeah, I've never been to Veracruz, but I'd like to go there. I might try and go there this year. It's I mean, it seems like I don't know. It's another one of those cities that, you know, it feels like it should have a really good team. I mean, you know, it's on basically next to the beach. I imagine that the players would like to live there. You know, I don't know. The same with like Cancun or something. I always think Cancun should have a really, you know, modern team, modern little, you know, 20,000 stadium, but like a brand new stadium that fits in with all the other developments over there. But it's not to be.
Showing some
Get one in
intentions,
Acapulco.
Veracruz, no? Acapulco. Brody Campos should invest money on a team from Acapulco and just make it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's been talked about before, no? A few years ago. Remember they were talking about moving one or another of the teams.
Gol de Veracruz.
Oh,
that's right. Naeem's got the 20 seconds.
again.
Oh, how did they
Esquivel
go?
with the goal.
Goal.
Oh.
Goal Veracruz.
Carlos Esquivel. Carlos, that's right. I'm over at Veracruz, Esquivel.
So in a week, Veracruz is turning into the Matachilangos. You know, they already beat Pumas and now they're beating America. Look, this is crazy. This is what Liga MX is so crazy, you know.
Oh my god. That was a strange shot there. I don't know if you just put it in a tough location. I don't know if you just placed it really well or
it was good placing. Good placing.
Or if Matichin should have done a better job. I want to see a replay on that.
See that at first. See the replay.
Oof. This is good placing, I think.
Yeah.
Look at that thing. It's like hitting a putt. So he's playing like golf or something.
That bounced like 3 times before it went in the goal.
Not sure about the.
Wow.
That took a little weird curve there. Was that did it hit a little bump or something? That took a little interesting bounce.
Yeah, the bump as well.
It did not look like it was going in. Like in any of those replays, I still expected it to not find the back of the net. Keeps going in every time.
So I'm ahead again, like last time.
Much ahead, yes.
You're even ahead of me, though. That's the weird thing. That's what I don't get.
That is strange.
Because we're both in Mexico, so you imagine.
Maybe just the Canal de las Estrellas again.
No, this is Azteca 7, yo.
Oh, what?
That's what I'm watching on.
Yeah. I think it's my box. It's my sky box, maybe, yo.
We got the good stuff.
It's not HD though. I think it's just normal.
I'm going to turn over. See if it's not happy about this. I'm going to Sky. I'm going to complain. Missing out on goals here. Missing out on breaking the goals before
Yeah, because that happened last time too, where Naeem was just like clearly it wasn't even like a 2 to 3 second delay. It was like Naeem was clearly like 10 to 20 seconds ahead of what we were watching.
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting for America. No, heading into this match is like try to vindicate their first place on the table, try to show some type of dominance over a team that on paper looks weaker, and they're not showing it, you know. And it's that's one of the things that is really so constant with the Mexican clubs and teams. No, even a national team. When a national team plays a weaker side, they just tend not to show up.
Yeah.
And here America is like it's their stage for them to show some type of dominance, and they're not showing it. Especially coming after that victory against Morelia, where it included the 3 Gs: ganar, gustar, golear. You know, the fans expected something similar, and they're not seeing it at the moment.
No, I think you got to praise Veracruz though here. I think they fought. You know, they've really fought, and I think they've not sat back. They tried to take the game to America, and you know. Yeah, I don't think.
And it's closing the spaces as well, Tom, because I think that's what Vasquez did in the first half. It closed the spaces, and it was so tight that it was hard for the movement for America. And it was total opposite with Morelia. I think Morelia was so split open, and that just allowed, for example, someone like Mateus Uribe to go lights out in that match. It was so free. And today we haven't seen that much from Mateus Uribe. So
then what? So if this continues for another 10, 15 minutes, who should Piojo bring on? Should he try to bring on Corona, Ibarwen? I don't know if I would want to mix up with the front line, try Martin just yet, but I mean, maybe someone like Corona or Ibarwen would be a good experiment up there.
Yeah, I think Ibarwen, no? I think Ibarwen might be the one pick because, I mean, we haven't seen that much from Cecilio.
I'd bring Martin, me. Martin. I think Menez isn't going to last. You know, I mean, Veracruz is the humidity there's notorious, isn't it?
Yes.
So I imagine that.
Yeah, he might go out. Yeah,
he's going to go out pretty soon. I imagine that Piojo will just stick Martin on alongside Peralta, and they'll go a little bit more direct. And I don't think it's going to be too long now. I imagine once we get to the hour mark, he'll make the change. And maybe Dominguez as well. Maybe Cecilio Dominguez hasn't. He's been a bit quiet, no, today.
Yeah, a bit quiet. Yeah.
Hasn't really been doing much. Yeah, no, I would agree.
The other thing about this game, I'm gonna send a tweet out in a bit, but I don't know. I've been doing this experiment recently where you keep track of the league as if it was kind of the standard European format of you play home and away, and it's quite interesting because with this victory, I think America would be going into Veracruz would leapfrog Chivas.
Really?
Veracruz would be ahead of Chivas, and Chivas would now be dropping into last place in the relegation table.
I mean, that's especially interesting to look at, especially since everyone's having the pro-rel discussion right now. I mean, that's probably one of the big reasons why you'll be doing that. But it would be interesting just to see how bad things would be for Chivas if this was just like a more traditional European setup.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because Veracruz win this, they move to 25 points. Chivas are on 24, Querétaro 25, Pumas 27, Lobos WAP 28, Atlas 29, Puebla 29. I think those are the teams. Even Pachuca on 30. It'd be a real relegation battle now. Every point is absolutely vital. And yeah, Chivas would be in last place. But still, if they could pick up a couple of wins, there's no reason they couldn't get out of it. But it's just interesting that Chivas, since they won the title as well, I mean, the day after they won the title, no team has won fewer points than Chivas. That's incredible.
Where would Lobos WAP be on that table that you have right now?
14th, 28 points. So they're 4 points ahead of Chivas. But the other end of the table as well. Club America right now are on 45 points and Monterrey are on 49. So there's a 4-point gap. So then this is a massive game. This would be a massive game for America because Monterrey haven't won in 3 now. It's been a really terrible week for Monterrey.
Yeah.
For the first time, I think since September 2016, they've not won for 3 consecutive games. So if this was like a normal league system, I mean that'd be the question now: is Monterrey are they letting it slip? After dominating for so long, are they now letting it slip? And then the other question would be, is America ready to take over? And they look like they were, but I don't know. So far today. Obviously losing now it's not the best, but I still think they'll get a draw in me. I think they're gonna equalize.
They gotta do something because I think Veracruz has been much better in the second half. I think Veracruz has had more possession, Veracruz just looked more dangerous. I know it's early on in the second half, but I think they've already looked much more dangerous than America has. I know America has possession right now, but they gotta change something.
Yeah, just going back to the table as well. You got Tigres on 44 points, so Tigres are only 5 points off Monterrey, and you got you still got the derby to come, the Clásico. So it'd be so finely poised, this league right now. I don't know. I think this is the argument against the playoff system as well. Apart from the other arguments, I think there's a lot of interest in these games still. You know what I mean? I think even more interest than there is now, because sometimes the regular season games. It's like Tigres Atlas, was there much at stake? Tigres, they're probably going to, make the playoffs, and every point's not absolutely essential. Even if they've got a draw, you're going to change your perspective. Whereas, if you look at it in terms of a real league table going over the course of a whole year, then that victory was absolutely vital to him yesterday, with Monterrey losing, and obviously now with America losing, Tigres would almost be, within touching point with distance now.
Sounded like Jason was going to say something there.
No, I was just thinking, I don't think it's all doom and gloom here for America just yet. I still think they're playing well enough that I do expect them to find that goal. I mean, they still had the more opportunities, more chances in the first half. Veracruz have looked pretty good, but I still expect similar. I expect America to so much time left in the second half. They're going to get plenty of chances yet. I don't think there needs to be a ton of. I mean, I think we will see a change soon, but I don't think there's things that desperately need to be changed on this pitch right now for America, because I think they're still going to get chances. I think they still are. And I think the goal is coming. I think this is going to be tied up for too long.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
right there. No go. But Mane just had a good play.
It's like Naive speaking from the future there.
Oh,
Yeah,
Thanks to his skybox.
my skybox.
The skybox, which Tom is now bothered by because Tom doesn't have the skybox. Tom is just super jealous
Really?
right now.
I've got the skybox, but it's obviously on delay a little bit, which is annoying.
Yeah, good
It's
tackle
annoying
there by Palmera Rivas. That tackle, no?
Yeah. Former Theagus player right there.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Tom?
No, nothing. Just annoyed about my skybox.
Oh man.
We have a comment here on the chat. Oh, let me look it up. Oh, my bad, guys. It is from Winston Ransom. Nice to see you guys doing this. As an American who doesn't speak English but likes to follow Liga Mekis, great to hear live commentary. Well, thank you for following us, Winston.
I don't know if I'd call it commentary.
Yeah, I guess it's more just chatting. It's more chat. It's Liga Mekis still.
Yeah, I like the title because I mean at the end of the day, we're not going to go through each. We're not. I mean, Naive's about 3 minutes ahead anyway. So
Yeah, you get it.
I don't know if I would have the energy to be doing like play-by-play commentary. It's almost like it's almost like it's just all color commentary, no play-by-play, just all color commentary.
I've never been a fan. Like when I'm watching games, I never really want to hear play-by-play commentary anyway. Like I want to hear goal calls. I want to hear like excitement when the exciting things are happening. But like in general, like most of the time, the just nonsense talk of like things I'm looking at anyway, I don't really want to hear. I mostly want to hear the color anyway. So I guess what I'm saying is that what we're doing is what I would want to listen to anyway. So.
Yeah, last six league games between America and Veracruz is 5 wins for America and 1 draw. You know, so Veracruz hasn't won in the last 6 games. So of course the stats suggest that what's going on right now is not supposed to be happening, but it is happening.
I wonder how many negative ones Veracruz would have with like multiple teams, like countless teams in the league. It's just like the last 7 games between Veracruz and like Cruz Azul. Like Cruz Azul is like 6 wins. The last 6 games between Veracruz and Chivas. Chivas have like 5 wins.
They've been pretty bad for a while now. They've survived this relegation scares really ever since they've been in the league. They had that one good season, didn't they? Angel Reyna, when he was like lighting it up for them. But it's just been it has not been a quality team really since they've come up. It's been mostly toward the bottom of the table and survival. But
I feel like Meliton is gonna have a couple of saves right now that are gonna be influential in the final score. Meliton, you know, Piojo Herrera took Meliton into the national team.
Yeah, we were just talking about that in the first half.
I'll be like, man, I took you to the national team. This is what you're doing to me? What? Ibarwen is gonna be the first up coming in for America.
Okay. So you called it there.
Got an assist in that win against Morelia. I think he got the assist in Peralta's goal.
We've got 9 no me gustas on the YouTube. Got 9 me gusta and 9 no me gusta. So
there's probably people listening.
Decision.
There are probably people who are actually listening because, you know, sometimes on like when you're trying to find a live stream, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like I'm gonna go on YouTube trying to find a live stream. They'll be like,
yeah.
someone from Mexico will be like, "What is this? Like,
What's going on?
Tom, what? Like, Cesar, what? Who are these dudes?" I know about Naive because he writes in Spanish, but these other guys.
I tell you what, decent chance that from Valdez.
No.
Yeah, no, that wasn't bad.
So Renato Ibarra is gonna come off, and Ibargüen is going in. So a lot of trust in Cecilio as of late from Piojo Herrera. Eh? So I mean, he's gonna keep having him in there as number 10. But a lot of questions were up in the air in the offseason about whether he was gonna stay or not. Well, it looks like he's staying, and he's one of the important players for Herrera this season.
I mean, just looking at this sub too, especially when Ibarra has kind of been like the assist guy.
Yeah, 4 assists.
Yeah, he's been the assist guy for America this season. So bringing off Ibarra and leaving Cecilio, that says a lot.
Key here. Let's see.
Battling here though, Veracruz. Really, really battling. I mean, yeah. Like I was saying before, I think that as bad as the club might be in terms of how it's run, and the other thing is they buy so many foreigners, don't they? They buy so many players. The turnover of players is absolutely ridiculous.
There's like 17 foreigners, I would say, I think.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? You're only allowed I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes there, but there's something weird going on because it's just not rational, is it? But yeah, like I said, I mean, these players desperately want to stay in the first division because a lot of them won't be able to get teams.
Yeah.
I mean,
we've seen cases now. We've seen cases sort of like Peñalba to Cruz Azul was one of the main ones. Furchu Santos. Those type of cases that foreigners land in Veracruz and then move on to other Mexican clubs.
Yeah, I imagine Gallese, the goalkeeper, might have some interest, but I'm not sure how many others.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. It's just, I mean, look at this starting 11, and yeah, other than Gallese, who are you really like? Who's really an exciting player? Maybe Diego Chavez. Yeah, he's like a young Mexican who's had a few goals this season, but I mean, it's just nothing brilliant, nothing that you've seen long term. Esquivel is obviously getting there with his age, so it's just I don't know. There's nothing really that exciting about this team roster wise, other than just Gallese.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No, we'll see. I mean, on the other side of it, from a neutral point of view, it's like you'd prefer at least there to be a bit of a relegation battle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than just be, because I mean, it's just looked for so long like Veracruz are definitely going down. But yeah, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with the relegation situation, because there's a photo as well of both these teams before the game. They came together to take the team photographs, like in support of promotion and relegation. So I don't know. I think as the days go by, it's increasingly unlikely that the Liga MX is going to be able to close the relegation pro-rel system, whatever they call it.
Maybe it's all a big conspiracy, Tom. Like, put on what's a close chance about even? We're gonna put on our tinfoil hat and say like everyone was talking about how bad that relegation system is, and then now we're just like, oh, at least we have pro-rel. It was almost taken away, but now we still have our terrible pro-rel system. That's my conspiracy theory of the day now.
I honestly think you have to applaud them for that. They're looking into it, because it's just one of those things with this league where it's just so obviously not working. It doesn't work. It's terrible. You got no guarantees of anything. The big teams can, in theory, still go down. There's every team that comes up just there's no guarantee that they'll be quality, that they'll improve the league. I mean, Lobos WAP's been like a cool story, but it's not been wow. You know what I mean? It's not. They're not doing like what Xolos did, or they're not doing what Leon did. You know what I mean? Where you can see, all right, this is a team that's going to be established in the league for years to come. I don't see that at all with Lobos WAP. And I like Rafa Puente, and I like what they've done there, like the style of play. But it's like it's not a real team, is it? I mean, they fill the stadium by giving out the tickets to students at the university. I mean, fair play to him on the sporting side for coming up. But yeah, I mean, if you ask the question, how much are they adding to this league, then I don't know. Probably not too much.
I mean, but the way you fix that, I mean, I don't know if this is true or not, but I mean, we've kind of discussed it. It's just by making it more fluid, the promotion relegation. I think that there's one thing that everyone keeps talking about, and I think that's ideally what I would like to see.
Oh, Melitón already got a save and then a post crossbar by Ibarwin. But he made a save. The shot could have been better, I think.
He might have saved that one as well onto the crossbar.
I think he might have done that. I think he might have gotten like at least a finger on that. Oh, good stuff from Melitón.
Oh, Melitón is showing up.
After we were making some jokes about him, like in the first half.
Maybe he will be in Russia after all.
Ooh, there you go.
I called that. Naeem had that.
Who needs Ochoa when you've got Melitón?
But no, but yeah, I think the problem sets out with the counter argument is that there aren't enough owners in Mexico of clubs or people would be willing to invest, that can put enough money in to make these clubs strong. You know what I mean? And the counter argument is that if you then get rid of the relegation, then suddenly investing in the Liga MX club becomes a really, a much more attractive proposition.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess perhaps that would make a little bit more sense if they then opened it up to more teams. Like, what if if you had 20 teams and you opened it up to a few more markets?
Yeah, I think they would do that. Yeah,
oh, another save by Melitón.
Melitón on fire, man.
Big shot by Cecilio out of the box, and I don't know how the heck he stopped this one. And it's kind of strange.
An accidental save.
An accidental save it was. I don't know what did he use there. What was it like?
I want to see a replay on that. Give me a replay.
Tried
to punch it, but it didn't work out as a punch.
Like ricocheted off his chest or something.
That could have easily gone into the back of the net. Like it just had a weird bounce after that, gone deflected into the net.
Got no faith in Melitón and his technical style.
What does it say under his? He's got an undershirt. I think it says Dios.
Dios nos une or something like that.
Veracruz really under fire here at the moment. 20 minutes or so left, and they are just holding on right now. America's putting the pressure on.
Yeah, man, 100%. Now I'm wondering if they'll be making another sub soon. If either Piojo just sees that America's putting plenty of pressure, or if this is now when you bring on Henry Martin.
Cecilio, like a dive that.
Uh-oh.
He's trying though, Cecilio, no?
Yes.
He's really trying to make something happen here.
Yeah, that was clearly a dive right there. But I think you do got to applaud him for his effort. I mean, in a couple of those shots too.
One of the Veracruz is the name on the back. I think it's RRT.
Is that Richard Reese? Hey? I think that's Richard Reese, right? That's Richard Reese.
How can you get away with that though? RRT.
I think that
what's it called? KSK Honda also has like KSK or something like that.
I was about to say that. Yeah, Pachuca has the KSK for Honda.
And then the lettering is so bad on that team.
Yeah, Pachuca is just always terrible with the back of the shirt stuff. Just terrible.
Yeah, I quite like the Leon shirt. The green and white stripes.
Yeah,
the new one. But I mean, you can't see the numbers. And then it's got that big man, it's got some guy with a hammer on the front, which I just hate. It's just like a cartoon or something on the front.
But that's Carlos Slim's cement company. It has to be on that.
Yeah,
some history there. Even if what is it, Cemento Fortaleza or something like that?
Yeah. At that point, just because of how much of how big it is and how prominent it is, it just kind of feels like the team logo, like that sponsor. All right, less than 20 minutes for America. I mean, it's kind of exciting to watch so far, like them to apply the pressure. Let's see if what else they could do.
The game against Cholos is coming up, right, Cesar?
Yeah, that's next Saturday in the Estadio Azteca. That'll be a fun one to watch, especially since a lot of the players here with America, have got that Xolos presence. Aguilera, Martin, Rodriguez, and of course Piojo too. I wonder if they'll start Joe for that one, just because of how much he knows how Xolos play.
I mean, Piojo is doing the rotaciones, so it's a possibility there.
Yeah, would it be that much of a surprise?
I mean, because today the two foreigners that didn't make the roster were William and Darwin. Henry Martin's coming in.
Oh, Henry Martin time.
I think he's about time. Even a bit surprised it's not been a bit earlier, this substitution.
Also, something to keep in mind in the next weeks is now how these clubs have to sort of work out the Champions League and the league. No, and I think mixing up the 11s and the priorities type of deal. It looks, for example, like a case like Chivas is like it makes sense to focus on the Champions League. Yeah. Give a little bit more push to that since the league seems so lost at the moment. But for example, with America, with Tigres, even Cholos, I mean, is that complication that all those three teams that I just mentioned are Liguilla kind of bound. But once the competition heats up in the Champions League, they got to show up really how they're going to work it out.
I mean, I think for a lot of those teams, though, I think maybe it's the next round you really gotta where it's gonna be a little bit more problematic. Because I mean, other than America, I mean, these teams, I think you could send almost like a U20 squad from these. Like, I mean, with all respect to a lot of these like CONCACAF Champions League teams, but I mean, Motagua. I mean, you got who is it? Like Cibao. You've got
true that. Good
Herediano. I think the only one that's really kind of like maybe a little bit more problematic was Saprissa, but I think at the next, I think the quarterfinals, that's when things get a little bit more problematic for these teams because I think round of 16, send in the backups, go for it. Why not? I think Chivas.
I think Tigres have got a game as well. Herediano as well are one of the top teams as well in Costa Rica, and I think it's the trip down there and all that as well that makes it difficult. Obviously, you'd expect them to come through, but I think especially against the Costa Rican teams, you can slip up. I think Chivas really is the one where, I mean, that's it should be a gift, no? Really?
Yeah.
It should really be a gift. But, it's the traveling to Dominican Republic. I mean, it's not ideal either.
Cibao. Well, Xolos,
but then again, they went...
The Xolos game, that one's going to be in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's perfect for Xolos, no?
Yeah, no, that's because of the problems that are going on with Honduras, which is unfortunate. But yeah, that game's going to be in Texas now, the away leg. So that's not bad for them.
Yeah,
it's week of who lost this week? Santos, Pumas, and America. Not three teams that were America's losing. Is still undergoing. But it's interesting how those three teams that started off well got losses this week.
Chivas is playing on an artificial pitch as well.
All right. Let's see. Oh, that's not good.
Cruz is down.
Aldo Cruz. I think Aldo Cruz is the one that's coming off, and Henry Martin is going in. Left back for striker.
Yeah, I mean, they're only giving him, 30 minutes here?
Yeah.
Less than that, actually.
I mean, I'd have taken him off with... I would have put Martin on with 30 minutes left, even if you're going to, even if you're replacing Oribe Peralta. Stick him on there and then... No. Shame for Cruz as well with the young player. He looks a little bit hurt, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's not good.
Absolutely stood on there.
Pretty hard.
What's the deal with Carlos Vargas? I don't know if I missed out on that, but I mean, he was playing as a left back, but then it looked like William Da Silva was playing as the left back for a little bit, and now you see Aldo Cruz there. Is Carlos Vargas just left out of the 11, or? or left out of the game?
I think he got a knock at one point.
He got a knock. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And that's why they've been putting William there and now Cruz.
Okay.
I think the interesting one as well is Edson Alvarez, no?
Yeah.
Because I mean, we're all talking about him going to Russia and being potential even a starter, like a few months ago, and now all of a sudden he's not playing the amount of matches that you'd expect him to. I think his form dropped a little bit, didn't it, at the start of the year? But it's not good. It's not good for him, is it?
Yeah,
really.
No.
Definitely not good.
I mean, Paul Aguilar coming in at right back. I mean, I'd definitely prefer Edson Alvarez at right back, and then obviously in the central midfield. I don't know. It's difficult now for Edson Alvarez. I mean, you look at this America team, and you think, where's he fitting in? You know what I mean? You're going to drop Valdez or Aguilera and play him at centre back. I just think those two are forming quite a good partnership these days. And then Aguilar, I mean, he offers something completely different from Alvarez. I mean, he offers an attacking fullback, like we spoke about earlier. Where and then so where do you put him? You know what I mean? He's not going to force out Guido Rodriguez in the holding role. Yeah, so I think it's difficult for Edson Alvarez right now.
Difficult. I mean, I think it's just a level of competition in the team right now. I mean, when Guido Rodriguez is in form, I think he's immovable. Then you got Mateus Uribe as well. Because there were some instances last season where Guido Rodriguez and Edson started in the midfield. But now this season, I think the option is kind of inexistent, because of how important Uribe has been. I mean, and I'm quite surprised with what Aguilera has offered, no?
Ooh.
I didn't see Aguilera, being that being an automatic starter, coming in from Cholos. But it's looking like he's taking a comfortable lead, and right now we'll see what happens with Alvarez. But that's serious. I think his place in the World Cup is in doubt because of this fact. He's not playing often. He's getting minutes every now and then.
Oh yeah, it's a worry, definitely. Good chance there for Veracruz as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think going back to Edson Alvarez, I don't know. I feel like, I don't see him as a starter right now, but I do think even though he's a backup right now for America, I still see him just as a backup still for the national team too, just because of his versatility as well.
Yeah.
I think due to that versatility, I think that's such a crucial player to have, whether it be a right back, defensive midfielder, center back, that it's just such a crucial component for the national team. So I'm still convinced, even if he's a bench player for America and doesn't get that many minutes, and he'll be going to Russia.
Yeah, I just think it's a risk though if he's not playing club level and considering his age, and then you take him to Russia, and I don't know, you'd be nervous putting him in if he hasn't had many minutes in the league this season. But I think I'll have chance in. I think he'll play in the CONCACAF Champions League. I mean, I don't think Piojo's gonna rest a lot of players, but I think Edson Alvarez will get some minutes there.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's someone that Osorio's thinking about for March as well, and getting him some serious minutes there, and to see where he's at, because with this lack of playing time, I agree. I mean, I think he's someone you want to get into the national team camp and get him playing as much as possible, just to kind of assess his current state, because as Cesar mentioned, his flexibility, and I think Osorio seems to rate him quite highly, and his performances with the national team warrant it. So hopefully he does. He gets into camp and does get some playing time and some looks, and then is able to lock down that place, because I think it could be important for not only for this World Cup, obviously, but just for the future. I mean, he seems like one of those players that's going to be so important for Mexico going forward. So you don't want him to have like a big gap here away from the national team.
I think that versatility, I think that kind of makes him stand out, and the fact that he can play in basically like three to four different positions, I think it kind of gives him that advantage over someone like, for example, Jesus Molina, who, he's just a defensive midfielder and he's good, but he's kind of having the same situation that Edson Alvarez is having. He's not playing often, but I think what makes it different with Edson is that the versatility aspect.
Yeah, I think Cesar Montes as well. That's another one. He can only play one position, so holds him back. I tell you what, Menez right now he looks absolutely shattered. I've just been watching him. I don't know. He's on his haunches there, I can't believe Piojo's not taking him off before now.
Yeah, Corona
Yeah,
coming on now.
I don't think
Is
he'll
it?
be. I don't think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Corona's coming.
I don't think he can play. I mean, I know Joe's a little bit more attack minded, but I don't know if he could be playing.
Free kick chance here for America. A goal can
Yeah.
come here.
Yeah.
We'll see who Joe replaces.
No, not a good one. Not a good cross by Mene.
Yeah, easily dealt with that. Mike, I need to turn it up a bit here. I feel like Veracruz, the last 10 or so minutes, they've been quite comfortable. You know, reasonably comfortable.
And Melithon's done it. I mean, it's kind of exceeded expectations there. Melithon's looks surprisingly comfortable too. I thought
it looks calm.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a little bit more problematic right there.
Yeah, the onslaught that came from America around the 65th minute, it didn't last too long. I mean, it seemed like they were really up in the pressure, but man, Veracruz dealt with it, and they got past that stage, and we're up to like the 83rd, 84th minute now. So America's running out of time, even just to get an equalizer.
Yeah, I think moving forward with America as well, I think Piojo, his issue is fitting all his players in. You know, I think it's going to be a real headache. And there's a lot of personalities there. I mean, Mene come with a reputation where he's not fit in with certain clubs. He's known as being a bit crazy and stuff. You know, in France, that's his reputation. You know, he's not really kind of fulfilled his potential, which is massive. You know, you got players like that. You got players like, you know, Cecilio Dominguez. You know, he was obviously a big personality as well. And you got Uribe in there. You know,
I just think one of the points, Tom, that I think has to be emphasized is the scoring issue. No, I think the fact that they're relying so much on Martin and Peralta for goals, I think that's gonna make them be weaker than the Monterrey sides at the end of it all.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to get them in. Then you've got Linus. I mean, what's happened to him?
Yeah,
you know, he's not even
crazy.
on the bench
This
today.
is the first time we've brought up Linus. Like it's 5 minutes left to go in the game. This is the first time we're talking about him.
Good shot by Darwin, but not well placed. It was straight to Meliton. Seems like Meliton has like a magnet today.
Yeah.
Got Darwin Quintero in the mix as well. You know what I mean? It's a difficult one for Piojo. You know, Joe Corona on there. How do you get the midfield balance? I mean, just named all those attacking players. And then, I don't know, I still have the feeling that Guido Rodriguez and someone like Joe Corona, who offers you a bit more balance maybe in the midfield compared to Uribe. Because Uribe played on the wing, the other week when he scored his 2 goals when he scored against Tigres, and he was brilliant. And I'm just wondering if, you know, that could be an option as well.
I mean, when Cholos, like back when they were in first place of the regular season, they were doing that with a midfield duo of Guido Rodriguez and Joe Corona. So that was something that I kept thinking about, was if that's something that could work out with America too, especially since it's Bielko once again in charge.
Joe Corona on.
Mene.
Just a few minutes here for America. I don't know.
No one saw this one coming. No one saw this one coming.
No. I was predicting like a crazy 3-1 win here for America.
Still time for my 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
Possible.
I tell you what, it's been a good performance. This, if they can hold on the next few minutes, like I was saying earlier, not only the points, you know, it'd be 6 points between Veracruz and Querétaro, but it's also the momentum, the confidence boost that Veracruz will receive here, because they'll believe after if they can beat America, that they can beat anybody.
That's right. Yeah, this is not one you look at the calendar, this is one you mark down as a loss for them. I mean, not even one you consider them getting points at, even if they're playing at home. So yeah, massive win, and one. Yeah. I mean, Veracruz. It's not a good one.
Yeah, I mean, next week it's Lobos against Veracruz, and if you look at how both teams are playing right now, you know, Veracruz potentially, you know, they beat Pumas midweek, and then if they can hold on to this America result now, you know, they're beating 2 big teams in the space of like 4 days. I mean, that's pretty amazing. And then, you know, Lobos Buap, good chance of getting a result there. Then they've got Tigres at home. again, you'd assume they're going to lose that, but then Morelia away, and then Atlas at home. So you think that if they can pull off maybe 7 points out of those 4 games, they can position themselves at least to make things a bit uneasy for Querétaro or perhaps even Atlas the way they're going and Lobos WAP come at the end of the season.
And this would be one of a few surprising results this weekend too, with Tijuana getting the 4-1 win over Pumas, Necaxa getting the 3-0 win over Monterrey, and then this one as well. There's never a lack of surprising results in Liga MX, but this is definitely a weekend with a few noteworthy ones. Assuming that it ends in the same score, but we'll obviously still a few more minutes left.
Yeah, the defense from Veracruz looked pretty solid today. I mean, they just locked down everything. This last play kind of proved it a little bit. I mean, it looked like America was going to do something, and you can see the frustration in Cecilio.
Wants a penalty, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He'll get himself a red card if he's not careful here.
No, good stuff. Obviously, good stuff from Rivas. Good stuff from Mares.
Mares, so critiqued by Americanistas, and look what he's doing today.
His bloody name as well, Osmarin. What's that? Osmarin.
What?
Gecko. Osmarin. What's Cecilio's on the name of what's on his back? C. Dominguez.
Yeah,
more traditional.
I think that was just a normal one. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was like Cesigol or something like that.
I heard there's a player in West Ham. His last name is Hernandez, but he goes by Chicharito or some weird thing. I know, it's strange. I know. Look him up. Look him up. He's their top goal scorer this season.
Little P, innit?
Yeah, it's a little strange.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Stoppage time, no?
Ooh, oh man. How many minutes, Naive? How many minutes?
I'll see. They still haven't announced it yet, so.
Okay.
Honestly, no, I mean, so far I'm not. I mean, I don't think America have been absolutely. I'm struggling to think of like absolute amazing chances that they created.
That's right.
And I can't think of any. I can't. Well, obviously,
early on, the Oribe miss. Remember, there's an early
miss.
Yeah.
The Peralta.
Even with that Oribe chance, like you had 3 defenders between him and the goal.
True.
I mean,
True.
He had a decent shot at it, but like Veracruz covered it up pretty well. I mean, you have to say that defense, like for as many America's had a
4
decent
minutes.
number,
4 minutes.
not that many quality ones.
Yeah. No. True.
Alex Dusa, he's saying Merida could also be a Liga MX city and has plans for a new stadium. Yeah, Merida is a booming city in Mexico. Absolutely, I think it's the safest city in Mexico as well on the Yucatan Peninsula. Really cheap to live there as well. Pretty hot.
Free kick right outside the box for America.
Free kick for America.
Yeah, I think if Ibarwen, for the minutes he brought a different spark. I mean, I think it was a good substitution there from Piojo.
Yeah, nice.
Really active.
Yeah, I mean, I know I said it before, but I think Piojo, one of his biggest challenges with this America team is leaving people out because there's some players that just aren't going to be happy.
Oh, Cecilia. I don't know what Cecilia tried to do there. I don't know if it was a shot or a center. It looked more like a shot. And then luckily, I think it's a corner kick for America.
Cecilio trying to be the hero here.
Nobody's run out to the ball there.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, the ball is right there. Goal del America.
What?
It's happened.
Oh, man.
There we go. Goal America.
92nd minute.
Absolutely distraught. Awful news that for Veracruz. So close to holding out. To give away a goal like that as well.
And it was pretty sloppy in the back.
Yeah, from a set piece like that, I mean, especially the way they kind of kept Club America at bay for so long. Look at Piojo, he's loving it. Let's have it. We've got 2 minutes. Let's win it.
Let's see who got the assist here. I think it was an America play. Let's see. It was a taquito.
I tell you what, that's what you got to love about Piojo, though. I mean, people can say what they want about him, but Got 2 minutes left on the clock now.
I think Martin with the assist, eh?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Let's see.
Yeah. But yeah.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful. But 2 minutes left, and Piojo is not thinking about, oh, let's get this point. You know, it'll keep us top of the league. He's thinking, like, let's fly forward now. Let's get that goal. I mean, I think that's why he's liked as a manager, Piojo, as well.
Veracruz is crushed right now, and America still has 1 minute here. I mean, America can still develop a good play and get the win.
What I would give to be at the stadium right now and just to be watching Piojo during these like last 2 to 3 minutes, because I've always said that he uses just as much energy as like players do, if not more so, with the way that he like flails and yells and argues constantly throughout the 90 minutes of like every game. And I imagine right now it's crazy intense right now for him.
41 seconds left.
41 seconds left. Oh, you're not that much ahead then.
I want to say I'm like what? Like I was like 7 seconds ahead or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's see what happens here now.
Ooh.
What a pass
No.
from Henry Martin though. Oof.
It's looking like a 1-1 draw. 13 seconds left. Marchesín gets the ball in the center half. Going to center the ball into the box.
That looks to be that then.
Again, it's still in the box. The ball's still in the a header goes, and Melitón with a huge save. That could have been a goal. Piojo kneels down.
Oh, Melitón! Oh.
I told you Melitón was going to do something. Melitón just prevented an America win in the last minute.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
That was Ochoa-esque, yo.
Oh, that header was perfectly placed.
Oh, Melitón! Wow.
Incredible.
2018.
At the end, wow.
Yeah, game over. 1-1 draw.
Disappointing for Veracruz. That it's going to be 8 points between Veracruz and Querétaro. 8 rounds of matches to go. It's a lot. That you're going to make up a point every week. You can see the disappointment on the Veracruz players' faces, their expressions here. A couple of them kneeling down. Yeah.
You just think about the morale of this side. Like, they just did so well. Like, they just did so incredibly well. I mean, they got that goal from Esquivel. They needed a little bit of luck there, but they did well for like 90 minutes, and to allow a goal like that in a season that they're trying to fight relegation. Oh, that's got to be crushing to the team. It's just so painful to see them.
So close, but I mean, you got to say fair result. With all the chances America were getting in that second half.
Yeah.
Fair result for them to get the goal, and then if not for some of those saves, that save at the end from Melitón, wow. But yeah, they're pretty reliant on their backup goalkeeper coming through with some massive saves in the second half there, just to preserve that, because that could have been a loss.
It was. I think it shows the spirit of America as well. They're not.
Yeah,
they're never.
For the morale.
Yeah, they're not giving up. They're still unbeaten. They're still the only undefeated team this season. It's a tricky game that at Veracruz as well, going against a team fighting relegation and so desperate for the points. It's not the same as going to somewhere like Atlas or going to somewhere like Querétaro or Pueblo, or it's going up against a team that's absolutely desperate for the points here. So, disappointing for Veracruz, but a decent point for America. And really, they're only a couple of wins now away from the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's the crazy thing.
Because now they've got 16 points. They remain as the only undefeated team in the league. 4 wins, 4 draws, 15 goals scored, 6 goals.
In this type of game, who do you put as the man of the match for America? Would it be someone like Cecilio Dominguez?
It feels weird to, because I think in the first half it was kind of an average half from him. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I'd give it to him. I don't know if anyone in America really stands out for me.
Yeah, distribution with Guido Rodriguez was impeccable tonight as well. No, so I think that's one of the things with America heading to the latter part of the season. I think it will be really interesting to see what level Guido Rodriguez is in. But there's not that many midfielders with that capacity. I think he's also aware that, the chances for a World Cup place for someone like Guido Rodriguez are pretty slim. But, you see the situation with someone like Guido Pizarro in Sevilla, who's not playing as he used to in the first half of the season. How does that deter his chances to the World Cup? And might that open, a possibility for Guido to hop on board? But, it's a talented player for America to have, and it's showing this season. Last season, he had multiple times where, he kind of didn't step up to the occasion and getting those red cards and whatnot. But, he's the equilibrium of America at the moment.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Tom. Thanks, Naid. Thanks, Jason. Thank you to everyone on the chat. Thank you to everyone who listened. Second edition of Liga Mekis and Chill. We'll see what we do going forward with this. I think the current game plan is to make this available only for our Patreon followers. So obviously, if you haven't followed our Patreon page, go to patreon.com/The Mexican Soccer Show. We'll not only be doing this, but we also do the Countdown to Russia podcast and a bunch of other cool stuff. But yeah, we're gonna wrap up. That was a fun ending to that game right there. Crushing for Veracruz, and America will remain undefeated. All right, guys. Talk to you guys later, and have a good weekend.
Boy.
Bye-bye.